Stugotz here for 1-800-Flowers. Being a mom is like 1,000 little jobs all wrapped into one amazing responsibility. I know this from watching my own wife, how crazy it is, switching back and forth from trauma nurse to afternoon mathematician, from organizer-in-chief to five-star chef. This Mother's Day, show her how much you appreciate every job she does with this special limited-time offer from 1-800-Flowers.com. Right now, when you get ahead of the Mother's Day rush, 1-800-Flowers will give you an exclusive 36 for 36 offer, 36 sorbet roses for just $36. That's only $1 per rose. With an impressive mix of pastel shades in pink, orange, and lavender, these roses are guaranteed to make her smile. Stunning sorbet roses are the perfect way to surprise all the moms in your life. Wife, aunt, sister, mother. These breathtaking roses from 1-800-Flowers are picked at their peak and shipped overnight to ensure freshness. 36 sorbet roses for only $36 is an amazing offer, but you need to hurry because it expires Friday. Just pick your delivery date and 1-800-Flowers will handle the rest. Don't put this off, guys. I'm telling you, order today from 1-800-Flowers.com. It's what mom would want you to do. To order 36 sorbet roses for only $36, simple. Go to 1-800-Flowers.com, click the radio icon, enter code Dan. That's 1-800-Flowers.com, code Dan. Hurry. Offer ends on Friday.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz podcast.
So here is where the stakes rise between the devil and Johnny, right here. Give him his due. And he is better. And that's, history forgets that. The devil is better. Oh, Johnny is Josh Rosen. He's Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield.
Oh.
I said it before the final.
Good save.
Quick release.
Yeah.
Hold on. Now watch. Tell me the devil doesn't win.
This is a devil right here?
This is the devil right here.
Or is this a bridge?
Hold on. I'll figure it out in a second. No, he opened up the case. All right. Fire, Mike. Mike, fire from the
fingertips.
Look at this. He's got an army behind him.
Pretty good?
Not pretty good. Better than what Johnny put out. No. You tell me this isn't better. The devil won, man. Robbed on the scorecards. Tell me I'm wrong.
I go Johnny.
Yeah, Johnny, definitely.
Is there a big difference between a fiddle and a violin? Because it seems like the same thing to me. By the way, violins, really hard to learn. I wanted to learn how to play an instrument recently, and I was down to violin or piano. Because I'm like, these are cool instruments, right? Everybody kind of looks at pianos and violins and like, I don't really like. I think it's cool. If you listen to a violin, the way that one note just goes into the other, it's beautiful. I look at covers of how people play violins of like modern songs. It's so great listening to like classical covers of modern music. So I wanted to learn how to play a violin. And I'm like, this is really complicated. I don't think that I'm up for this. I don't think I could play a violin. But what's the difference between that and a fiddle?
$2. Mike, so there's a sequel. So Charlie Daniels Band said to themselves or itself, we are going to do a sequel because people thought that the controversial finish between the devil and Johnny, there needs to be a rematch when something's that close.
Right. Art Briles wanted a rematch. So in 1993, it was The Devil Comes Back to Georgia.
Okay, a song I've never heard of. A song that you were just telling me about during the last break. Charlie Daniels Band, I did not know that they were like Kiss, really greedy, the Charlie Daniels Band. Like Kiss is the most famous band in the history of commerce. They'll sell anything. Gene Simmons will put a tongue, on the back of your underwear.
They left it open-ended, though, man. I mean, Johnny did invite the devil to come back if he wanted to try again.
I understand,
they
but
left
then
it open for a sequel.
But then when did the sequel come out, though? The Charlie Daniels Band started fiddling away its career and its money, and then what happened? Then when did the sequel come back?
1993.
Okay, how far after the song is that? Isn't the
10 years have gone by.
All right.
Yeah.
So 10 years and nobody's addressed.
The world has changed.
Right. Okay, a whole new generation.
Right.
All right, and so the Charlie Daniels Band says, do you guys know this story? Because I don't know what happens in the rematch between the devil and Johnny. The song must have been really bad.
Dude, you're opening my eyes, because I agree, the devil won. I had been living my life thinking Johnny won.
How has no one noticed this? It's one of these things where he just Johnny said it was so, and then he became the winner of that.
Johnny's a paper champ.
Well, no, I mean, the devil conceded. He said, hey, I mean, the devil, you think the devil is just handing out victories?
According to the Charlie Daniels Band he put down. Look, man, Johnny lost at the fire from the fingertips. Like, what you got, Johnny? So we got a sequel here. And how does that story go?
pretty much identical, sonically speaking.
Is it? This is the sequel? Let me see. Wait a
wow.
minute.
No, hold on. Hold on.
Song.
Just whoa.
Are you serious? They just did it again 10 years later?
Song.
Just so you know, the devil has a golden fiddle in this song. So good.
This is not so good.
Is that Johnny Cash doing vocals?
Is it Johnny Cash?
They're just talking.
All right, well, hold on. But
not really singing, but
I
it's
want to hear the
good.
story. I want to hear what they're talking about. We'll get to the NBA playoffs and the NHL playoffs at some point here.
This is a terrible sequel.
I mean, yeah, but I don't even understand the story so far. What happened? Johnny was rusty? Or was Johnny tanking? Like, what was happening? Is he hustling like a pool hall? Why was Johnny rusty? Because he hadn't fiddled since beating the devil the last time they fiddled, reportedly? All right, who is this? Is this the devil again playing poorly?
Now, I can tell you Jason Fitz has he's joined the conversation.
He can play a mean fiddle.
He can play the fiddle.
He's a fiddler.
Or a band called Perry.
Can we get him on to break it
He's
down?
on an airplane, and he's watching the show, but he did send me a quick text.
It's not the band called Perry. It's a band Perry, right?
Is that a fine?
Perry?
Yeah, whatever. I think it's a band called Perry. I have no idea. He says...
it's the band Perry.
Whatever, fine. The devil destroys Johnny, not even close, he says.
That's a fiddler.
It wasn't close the first time.
Dan, master class, by the way. Jason Fitz is master class. I'm serious. That's how good he is. And he says, B, zero difference. It's the exact same instrument. The only difference is the approach.
Ask him if it's really hard to learn, because it looks really hard to learn. And I saw a thing where you buy like a thing, you put it on your violin, and it shows you the different notes. It's as if you're going to teach yourself, because I'm not going to go to class to learn this, obviously. I'm embarrassed. I'm like 40 years old. But here's the thing. I don't know what's a good quality violin to get, because you know there's going to be crap violins out there, and I don't want to show up to my first violin class and have the teacher laugh at me, be like, what a dumb violin you bought. That's the worst violin anyone's ever brought into my class. That's not what I want. I want to get a good violin, but I don't want to spend a fortune, because violins can get really pricey, kind of like koi. But you want to get a good quality violin, because you don't want to get laughed at by the... Imagine if I show up to a class, right? And it's primarily young people taking these classes, and I have like an 8-year-old laughing at me because their violin's so much better than my violin. I'm never going to be able to live that down. I'm kind of, sort of, a little bit very low person of note in this community, and I can't get laughed at by 12-year-olds because they have better violins than I do in my first violin class.
$2.
Hi, everyone. Stugotz here. Support for the Dan Le Batard Show podcast comes from our friends at Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Chances are you are confident when it comes to your work, your hobbies, and your life. Rocket Mortgage gives you the same level of confidence when it comes to buying a home or refinancing your existing home loan. Rocket Mortgage is simple, allowing you to fully understand all the details and be confident you are getting the right mortgage for you. To get started, go to rocketmortgage.com/Stugotz. That's rocketmortgage.com/Stugotz, STUGOTZ. Equal housing lender, licensed in all 50 states. NMLS consumeraccess.org number 3030.
Dan Le Batard.
Stugotz lies so much, and he doesn't take inventory of his lies, that even when he's telling the truth, we don't believe him on anything. What's wrong, Stugotz? What are you objecting to?
I mean, listen, I've done this to myself, so I'm frustrated at myself. I'm not going to lash out elsewhere because I understand why everyone would think that I was the one who did this. But I am sitting here telling you guys that I did not do it.
Stugotz.
You absolutely took a bite out of a piece of pizza and put it back with the rest of the pizza.
It was me.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
I don't know what it is about this song that makes me want to tackle this Jason Leisure, Meek Mill, Philadelphia 76ers, Miami Heat story that BSO, Black Sports Online, has fanned some flames on. We don't talk very much race around here anymore. It's been a minute because of how badly everyone reacted to getting tired of Colin Kaepernick talk. But it ended up in that Sixers Heat series, and I ask you this. Which would you prefer to talk about? A racial situation, a joke made on Twitter that started a fight involving, again, Meek Mill. Like, these are not, like, our racial crusade should be about, voting and housing discrimination and mass incarceration. They should not be about what did the guy from the Palm Beach Post say about Meek Mill and the arena in Philadelphia that we all know to be hostile, although now it's coming in information that we don't know if that arena is white or black, but the prison joke can be made if it's an arena filled with white people. The prison joke becomes harder to make when there are black people there who are offended by it. They're in the minority literally, and they're saying, please don't do that. That's not a funny joke, putting us in prison over a Meek Mill story. And also Jason Leisure is our friend, and we like him. And so we feel like the ending of this should simply be, Jason, don't do that. That's wrong. Be careful there. You understand how you as a white person need to be careful about the jokes you make. And then what ends up happening is the fight that always ends up happening in 2018. White people back away and are like, why can't I just tell the joke, man? And black people are like, why just don't you listen to us? We don't like the joke. How about you just not make that joke? Man, I can't say anything anymore. You don't let me say anything anymore. Political correctness run amok.
For context, for people that aren't familiar with the tweet because it had since been deleted, I'm going to paraphrase here. Jason Leisure said something joked along the lines of, I don't know what the big deal is. Half this arena just got out of prison. A rib on Philadelphia fans. But if you have an arena that's half black and half white, kind of like the Philadelphia arena, you leave yourself susceptible to someone saying, well, which half are you talking about there, bud?
Right. And so when the front row is Kevin Hart, when the front row story is Meek Mill, but also in the front row is a guy dressed as Ben Franklin.
Well, he looks just like him. I don't even think it's intentional.
Yeah.
Well, what do you do, though, when you got a founding father courtside next to Kevin Hart, who, by the way, the funniest moment in all of this last night was simply Joel Embiid picking up Kevin Hart the way Stugotz would pick up a 5-pound bag of potatoes and putting it over his shoulder. Kevin Hart was
like
something
Stugotz
that would
struggle more.
Maybe Kevin Hart.
I think I would struggle with that. Yeah,
Guillermo, put it on the poll. Put it on the poll.
Yeah.
Did Kevin Hart look like something that would be hanging from Joel Embiid's keychain, like a rabbit's foot?
Yeah.
Are those still around? Do people still do rabbit foot?
Oh,
keychains?
absolutely. Yeah.
Put it on the poll, Guillermo. Because rabbit feet keychains were something from my childhood. Is that something that's still popular?
Kind of feel like that'd be snuffed out in 2018. Yeah. So cruel to poor rabbits.
Right? That's totally true. That can't be something that's still going on, Stugotz. The idea. In fact, the audience.
Still going on, yeah.
Like the flourishing business of rabbit feet?
I think the rabbit's foot business is flourishing, yes, in 2018. I'm telling you, you buy them anywhere. Amazon, Zazzle, anywhere you want to buy them.
They have to be fake rabbit's feet, right? At this point.
I don't know.
At any point in history, were they real rabbit's feet?
Were they real? Does anyone know what we're talking about right now? Because I'm not sure that this is an industry. This can't be an industry. Just because Stugotz is saying it's on the internet and then you could buy something on Amazon, that doesn't mean that it's a flourishing industry of Stugotz, why the hell would rabbit's feet as keychain be flourishing in 2018?
Well, it's a nice keychain, some good luck involved. There's a lot of reasons, and they're affordable. You can get one ranging from, anywhere between $3 and $7. That's an affordable keychain right there. Plus, some good luck goes along with it.
Do young people know what I'm talking about right now when I mention rabbit feet as a keychain? Guillermo, Chris, Roy, Mike, does this even predate you guys?
Why would a rabbit's foot be lucky? It wasn't lucky for the rabbit.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I remember seeing like a blue one, and I'm like, I've never seen blue rabbits. This doesn't seem real.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Wow, that's an upset. Not because it's you, Roy. It's just I don't understand how it is that nobody understands, that I'm so old. I'm making references that nobody in my crew understands except for Roy.
No, I get it. I just don't understand why people consider it lucky.
Right.
Some poor rabbit lost its foot. Yeah.
Can I ask you guys this question? Because I'm watching this on the television in here. First Take is on, and Stephen A. Smith and Max Kellerman are talking about. There's a lot of video of Pat Riley coming up on the screen, and it's Wade's World. Dwayne Wade says he's not decided on continuing to play. That might have been the last game of his career. It was the last game of the Miami Heat season, and it turns very quickly, very quickly. Things can turn on somebody where all of a sudden you're looking up at the television and you're looking at Pat Riley, regal elder statesman of class. Nobody in the history of basketball has given off more I am basketball than this guy. And now he's coming under it because that team he's built is old. It's not good enough. It doesn't have assets, and it just lost in the first round to the team in its conference that is coming for everybody.
In variations of this superstition, the donor rabbit must possess certain attributes, have been killed in a particular place, killed by a particular method, or by a person possessing particular attributes, e.g., a cross-eyed man.
I am baffled by what's happening with the rabbit's foot. And again, I maintain it cannot be a flourishing industry in 2018.
No, they're doing great. The Celts first associated rabbits, Mike, to answer your question. The Celts first associated rabbits with good luck back in 600 BC. Since rabbits live underground in burrows, it was believed they could communicate with the spirits of the underworld.
Hold up. Has to be done by a cross-eyed man?
In a particular way.
Oh.
The Celts invented it?
Yes.
Well, the Celts.
Because I was thinking Red Auerbach.
So was I.
Cent, 5 cent, 10 cent, dollar.
600 BC, I mean.
Does Stugotz get $2 for reading the internet wrong there? Like calling?
Technically, I read it right. I mean.
Celts, Celts?
Yeah, I mean, anyone could make that mistake, right? The C's.
The C's silent. It's a K.
No, just call them the C's.
What have you called this Marlins pitcher? What is his name?
Oh, Dr. K, Caleb Smith.
Who spells it with a C? Is it the same thing that's happening there with your reading of Celts?
Yeah, the C stands for K. No, I mean, Celts and Celts are both, they both are spelled with a C, so we'll just call them the C's.
If you're just joining us and have no reference for this, Stugotz refers to a pitcher for the Marlins whose name is spelled with a C as Dr. K.
And a big win for the Celtics last night.
Dan Le Batard.
I listened to Dan's show while I was in Florida last week, I listened every day, came in the afternoon. He's got a good show.
Stugotz.
It's got a very good show. Oh, it's impeccably produced. I mean, oh, goodness. That is like a training show for kids on how to produce radio.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
Here is how it works around here if you are new to the gathering. Okay, we've been talking race and sports in America for 15 years around here on this radio show, and we do it less now than we ever have. And the reason for that is because of how divisive it is. And people come here for the laughs, and some of them come here for my racial opinions, but mostly it's people who come here for the laughs, and they don't want to think about serious things in the fun house.
It's funny how that worked out. And I'm not really sure how it happened, but we used to talk race when nobody was doing it. And now everyone is talking race because you can't escape it. And we're like, we'll talk about, people that have been attacked by bears, rattlesnakes, and sharks.
Right. Well, and it's part of It's part. Stugotz is the guy at the bottom of the ship in Waterworld yelling up, finally, Stugotz hasn't won it. Okay, when I say we've talked race for 15 years, I mean I have, and Stugotz has avoided all of those conversations at every turn in comically evasive, cowardly fashion.
I want to say I listened to him, but I didn't even do that.
You didn't even do that. You just tolerated them. You endured them. They lapped across your face like a relenting apocalyptic storm.
I just kept saying, hey, these are really important conversations to have.
Somebody
glad we're having them. Yeah.
I'm glad I'm near them, but not saying anything. So anyway, but this is why we don't do it right here. This is why we do it less than we have, even as we're talking about race, through the prism of Meek Mill. Meek Mill! Like, that's all funny except for how wrong and long the incarceration was. All of that is funny except for the real problem in it, which is, good God almighty, that's mass incarceration. Like, he needs to not be going and losing his freedom over that. So, this is what you get when you discuss it, though.
For wheelies?
It can't be. Like, it's the most outsized caricature of symbolic criminal system in this country that disproportionately jails black people as a business. Like, I'm not even saying anything controversial there. That you could just look on the internet and read and inform yourself on what's going on with mass incarceration in this country.
Important discussion, man. Glad you're having it.
All right, so I will move off of this right now after this text. The bridge is going to be just simply this text.
Is this a promise? Or?
Yes, because Stugotz has got something for Condoleezza Rice, Paul Soliai, and John Dorsey.
Oh.
And we'll get to all of it, I promise you, after I read this text. In order, Condoleezza Rice, Paul Soliai, John Dorsey. A texter writes in, I don't understand how you get off mocking white people, playing that white guy's song, mocking Golick and Wingo that you always play. always mentioning white guys with the Patriots, everything. Once someone does it the other way with black people, you lose your bleep, you racist bigot. People like you are the problem. People like you will be the reason racism will still exist. You don't treat every race the same. You favor black people, and you think you're black. Totally fair criticism. Salute to you. You win, oppressed white person. What do you got for Condoleezza Rice, Stugotz?
You're done?
Yes, sir. What do we have? Let's go. Let's do these a minute at a time. What do you think? Stugotz takes to cover up the race talk. Are you ready? And Condoleezza Rice shouldn't be where we start?
So, yeah, let's go Soliai. Because this is what I don't get about Paul Soliai, man. This is crazy. Like, I don't know. I put things in my notes on my phone, and sometimes I don't get to them when I want to get to them. I did this like 2 weeks ago with Soliai. Soliai wanted to retire. He signed one of those one-day contracts with the Dolphins to retire a Miami Dolphin. That is not reserved for guys like Paul Soliai, man.
I think he's right about that. The one-day contract is for Paul Pierce, barely.
Yeah, and I want to give credit to our morning show locally down here in Miami. They were talking about it today, and a light went off, and they're right. Like, Paul Soliai, how does that guy, he didn't do anything for the Dolphins.
All right, hold on. He did. Hold on. He run stuffed.
Yeah, solid hand.
But that doesn't
a run stuffer doesn't get you the one-day contract, retire as a Dolphin.
Well, but for some run stuffers, like Warren Sapp or Cortez Kennedy, some run stuffers. But you're right.
But not this run stuffer.
Okay.
And Dan, listen to me. Brandon Fields also signed a one-day contract. Brandon Fields, the punter. Okay? And I'm telling you, Brandon Fields, because the Dolphins from 2007 to 2014, when Fields was the punter, punted more than any team in the NFL during that span, he is more deserving of the one-day contract than Paul Soliai. It's a disgrace. It really is.
Were those the Wanstead years? What were the years you were talking about?
A punter. What an embarrassment for the Dolphins that they allowed a punter, okay, to sign a one-day contract so he could retire as a Miami Dolphin. It was 2007 to 2014. No one punted more. I understand it. And I'm telling you, he's more deserving than Soliai, but this is a complete embarrassment. This whole organization.
Are the Dolphins ruling the century in punting? Because that's not even the Wanstead years, and Wanstead did nothing but run Ricky Williams into the line 700 times a season and then punt. Like, those aren't even the Ricky Williams years.
Brandon Fields was in Miami this long, and he was a punter for an entire generation of Dolphins fans.
Yes, that's correct. And the generation before it saw plenty of punting. That is so true. Stugotz, everything he says is right. And first of all, Guillermo, put this on the poll. Do you think of Paul Soliai as a Falcon or not at all? That's the poll question. Just like that, no other words.
Cent, 5 cent, 10 cent, dollar.
Don't forget, I got something for Condi and Dorsey.
No, well, Condi, I think you might be scared of. We need to keep moving away from the race stuff.
She's presiding over sports. We got to talk about this. But we'll do Dorsey next.
Ryan! I don't know how else to say this, so I'll just say it.
What is it, Linda?
I think we should see other people.
Are you breaking up with me? On a roller coaster?
Well, we do have a lot of fun. Maybe we should stay together.
An emotional roller coaster? Surprising. What's not surprising? How much you could save by switching to Geico.
I just need a little me time.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Don Le Batard.
It is an honor to be here. Seeing Poppy in person, you're like a Cuban Yoda. You're wonderful.
Really?
And also, you have a normal-shaped head, which is nice to see, because it begs the question, though, what the heck happened to you, Dan Le Batard?
Thank you, Jim. Stugotz.
America, his head starts off okay at the top, and then by the time it hits his ears, it expands out for some
Well,
reason.
yes, that's the calories, usually, yeah. That's
you have the world's only apple-bottom skull. As the kids say, it's THICC thick, my friend, so good on you.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
Our friend Hank Azaria Today, Stugotz, Hank Azaria, Jim Brockmeyer, his show tonight, IFC Season 2, opens tonight. Hank Azaria is 54 years old today.
And happy birthday to him. I don't care. Good luck.
So Azaria found himself in some controversy recently that we have not discussed around here. He addressed it on Colbert last night. If you guys do not know who Hank Azaria is, he is the voice for many, many Simpsons characters. He's become a friend of the show, a voice for the show. He is Apu in The Simpsons, and a documentary was made, not unlike this situation that we're talking about with Meek Mill, Heat fans, and Sixers fans, and the just race stuff that nobody wants around sports. There was a documentary done, and I saw this done the other day. I told you guys there's a good documentary out about the Turkish prison system, about what Our Movie by Oliver Stone did to Turkey and its tourism. Because when I say, what's the worst prison in the world, you think Turkish prison. And that comes from what they did with a movie in which they offended all of the people of Turkey by making them the most slovenly version of an evil people. And they ruined tourism in that country with a movie that was celebrated here as one of the great classics, Midnight Express, of all time. And if you watch this documentary, you can hear the pain of the Turkish people. Why are we being represented by America as the evil people, as this guy who was, in actuality, a drug smuggler? He was not wrong the one time he smuggled drugs into a country that is intolerant of drugs, at least in part because Richard Nixon made them intolerant of drugs. So the Turkish people see that movie. America celebrates it as a prison movie, deeply hurt and offended, kills their economy. The Turkish economy, that movie. To this day, we think all these years later that the worst prison in the world is the Turkish prison system. And here we are.
I still have no idea what you're talking about.
You and me both.
Which part of it?
All of it.
Which part is not being understood here? What am I doing wrong? You guys want to just go back to John Dorsey?
Who's Richard Nixon?
Is anyone calling the current president Russia Nixon? Is that happen? Is that something is that popular? Is that something? I'm like the general manager of the Cleveland Browns. I'm not watching any television.
Oh, this guy.
Yeah, it's weird.
This guy.
Dorsey.
The Browns are going to take Josh Allen, #1 overall, simply because John Dorsey doesn't watch television. Because he has no idea what a stupid pick that would be if he's not watching television. If he's watching television, it'd be easy to see why that would be a horrible pick.
Yep.
But he doesn't watch SportsCenter. He doesn't watch NFL Network. He doesn't talk to anybody.
Right, because if he was doing any of those things, he would know he doesn't have to take Josh Allen #1 overall.
No,
Right.
he's a reason. The only reason there's buzz on Josh Allen is because John Dorsey doesn't watch television. And now Mary Kay Cabot says it's between Baker Mayfield and Josh Allen. Why is Josh Allen in this conversation? I'll tell you why. It's because John Dorsey needs to turn on a television.
Yeah, but also don't believe a single word anyone is saying. I mean, Cabot's credible, but don't believe a single word come out of anyone's mouth the next couple of days. I'm telling you.
Agreed.
Do not do it.
Agreed. You know why?
Yep.
We established John Dorsey doesn't talk to anybody.
Right.
What were you telling me about his wife?
Well, Steve Weiss just tweeted out, and listen, he's on the inside. I mean, this guy he's deeply entrenched. He had a brief conversation with Browns GM John Dorsey. No legit trade offers for the #1 pick. As for who the #1 pick's going to be, quote from Dorsey, haven't even told my wife.
The secrecy is on next level with John Dorsey.
Yeah.
Next level.
But he knows.
Who's watching Haslam? Someone needs to make sure he's not wandering around talking to strangers
he
again.
He can't be doing charitable stuff because you don't want him around the homeless.
This is why your parents say don't talk to strangers. It's because of Jimmy Haslam.
That's right. If you don't know, they drafted Johnny Manziel, who had drug problems and mental issues that he's come forth with and opened up about. They drafted Johnny Manziel because Jimmy Haslam, the owner, who was trailed at the time by, I believe, a federal indictment. He just talked to a homeless guy who told him to draft Johnny Manziel.
I think Gettleman was right. Like, my mom could scout Saquon Barkley. I do, because I watched this, Dan. I'm really getting into this draft. They have these, ESPN does an incredible job. They have these features on all these guys headed into the draft. They did one on Saquon Barkley. Can't miss. That is the best player And you're not only getting a great player, you are getting a great kid. I'm serious. This kid is going to be a star in this league for the next 15 years. If I'm the Browns, I was thinking about this last night, Mike, you have to take Saquon Barkley. You have to.
Well, you have to because Ernie Accorsi is a Penn State guy, and there's no way Saquon's fallen past number 2.
Nope.
We know this. I've listened to every single draft podcast, and let me tell you something.
What?
I have never been more crazed than I was listening to Mel Kiper Jr. at 2 times regular speed.
Oh, boy.
Okay? It was straight up cocaine.
All right, put that on the poll at
it's
Le Batard
great.
Show. Is Mel Kiper at twice the speed straight up cocaine? Because we are headed toward a binge, people. It's on every network. I believe it is Jim Brockmeyer who told us that this is like a declaration of war. It's going to be on every network. The NFL draft we are treating the NFL draft by putting it on all the networks the way we would if right now if we went to war with North Korea.
I'm so bummed about this Dorsey thing. It's not like Sashi Brown did anything with Cleveland other than accumulate assets, but you're going from analytics to eyes and gut, and you can't just turn off the switch. Now, Dorsey, I think he's been quoted saying he's 85% Atlanta Braves, 15% Oakland A's. That's not enough Oakland A's for me. I need more Oakland A's.
Yes.
Are you pumped up, Stugotz?
I can't wait.
Are you
listen, Josh,
all of it?
Well, Josh Rosen, what he did recently, he's my guy now.
I like him.
Oh, I am a Rosen guy.
him.
He does not care about anything.
Zero bleep.
And that's what you need when you play in New York City.
Yes.
He is taking out Sam Darnold.
Yes.
He is taking out Baker Mayfield.
Yes.
He's telling everyone I'm better than those guys. Those guys are overrated.
Yeah.
This is the guy I want. Yesterday I wanted Lamar Jackson. Today I want Josh Rosen.
85% Braves, 15% A's?
Yeah.
You don't want that. The A's have the championships. Yeah. Braves have what? Division titles. Who cares?
They got the one.
Really? You think that's worth putting on the poll?
Do you want to be A's or Braves?
A's or Braves, just like that, with no context. About that Apu thing I wanted.
Stugotz here for 1-800-Flowers. Being a mom is like 1,000 little jobs all wrapped into one amazing responsibility. I know this from watching my own wife, how crazy it is, switching back and forth from trauma nurse to afternoon mathematician, from organizer-in-chief to 5-star chef. This Mother's Day, show her how much you appreciate every job she does with this special limited-time offer from 1-800-Flowers.com. Right now, when you get ahead of the Mother's Day rush, 1-800-Flowers will give you an exclusive 36 for 36 offer, 36 sorbet roses for just $36. That's only $1 per rose. With an impressive mix of pastel shades in pink, orange, and lavender, these roses are guaranteed to make her smile. Stunning sorbet roses are the perfect way to surprise all the moms in your life. Wife, aunt, sister, mother. These breathtaking roses from 1-800-Flowers are picked at their peak and shipped overnight to ensure freshness. 36 sorbet roses for only $36 is an amazing offer, but you need to hurry because it expires Friday. Just pick your delivery date and 1-800-Flowers will handle the rest. Don't put this off, guys. I'm telling you, order today from 1-800-Flowers.com. It's what mom would want you to do. To order 36 sorbet roses for only $36, simple. Go to 1-800-Flowers.com, click the radio icon, enter code Dan. That's 1-800-Flowers.com, code Dan. Hurry. Offer ends on Friday.
Dan Le Batard.
So let me just get this straight. What you just gave us was limited fake John Lovitz as Will Smith's character in Bad Boys, Mike Lowry.
Yeah, that's a ticket. I'm Mike Lowry.
Stugotz.
Thank you. There it is.
Yeah.
Mike Lowry. Thank you.
Glad we waited for it.
That was a lot better.
Thank you.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
We will get to that Apu story. Maybe I will try to get to it. We have been negligent in covering it because the guy who's been around our show for quite a bit now is in the middle, embroiled in a controversy that we never asked him about. And it's his birthday today. He is 54 years old.
Happy birthday to him. I don't care. Good luck.
I gotta tell you, he looks great for 54.
Yes, he does.
He really does. Man, he looks younger than we do, both of us. Right?
Yeah.
I'd rather look like Hank right now than myself.
We are not the bar for youth looking. You don't get to make looking younger than us does not make him look young.
I'm just telling you, I'm 10 years younger than Hank, and Hank looks younger than I do.
Okay. So Tom Haberstroh joins us now, and we want to talk NBA playoffs. It's a fun time of year. Haberstroh has been our numbers guy for a long time. Mike, get the Haberstroh song. He loves the song whenever he appears, so we will play that for him at some point during this segment. But Haberstroh is with Bleacher Report now, and he joins us on ESPN Radio. Thank you, Tom, for joining us. Let's start here. Without Steph Curry, how much of a problem is Anthony Davis and the way the Pelicans are playing for the Warriors? Can you help us understand it?
Yeah, I mean, when Steph Curry is playing, they're far and away the best team in basketball. But without them, they've been basically 500. With Kevin Durant and Draymond Green and Klay Thompson, this season they've been barely 500. And when you have Anthony Davis on the other side, you're asking Draymond Green and Kevin Durant to guard that guy for 48 minutes, and it's going to be tough. I mean, even if Steph Curry comes back, I don't think people are valuing Drew Holiday enough defensively, because it's going to be hard for Steph to get in rhythm when Drew Holiday is flanking him. Like, it is really difficult, as you saw with Dame Lillard, to shake free from Drew Holiday. And with Steph Curry returning from an MCL injury, that's going to be really hard. I think that series is going to go deep.
Answer this question for me, though. When the Warriors and Pelicans play, who has the best player on the court?
Without Steph Curry?
All of them.
All of them there.
Who has the best player on the court? Among Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, and Anthony Davis, who's the best?
I think it's Steph Curry. When healthy, Steph Curry, KD, then AD. That's my vote. I mean, you're splitting hairs at that point, but I just think the shooting ability that you have with Steph Curry is, as Ethan Strauss likes to say, it's Shaq from 30 feet away. He does so much for your offense. It's just crazy. Opens up shots for everybody else when they try to put two on the ball. I don't think you can really replicate that with anybody in the NBA. Anthony Davis is a freak talent. But you're talking about Kevin Durant and Steph Curry. It's splitting hairs at that point.
It's the reason I think the series is going to be interesting, though, Tom, because without Steph Curry, the Warriors cease to be the Warriors. They're not the Warriors anymore, and now they're going up against a guy who's as good as the best they got. Like, if you're splitting hairs on Anthony Davis and Kevin Durant, what you're about to watch is what, in terms of difference between the teams?
It's going to be, I think, a 6 or 7 game series, and Anthony Davis is, I don't think Alvin Gentry gets enough credit here for redefining this team as an up-tempo, run-you-off-the-floor team, because for 40 games with DeMarcus Cousins, they were not that. They were not the fastest team in the NBA because they had 2 Twin Towers, and they were able to retool without Boogie out there. And Nikola Mirotic has been fantastic, guarding 5s and 4s, shooting the ball. I think it's going to be a fascinating thing this summer is how much money you give Boogie Cousins, because it's like, look at how good they're playing without him. And when you have Anthony Davis at the 5 and running up and down the floor, it's really hard to guard.
Do you think they're better without Cousins? Because they were starting to play well when Cousins got hurt. They were. It was trending in the right direction,
Haberstroh, you're not willing to say that, are you? Because this has been Bill Simmons' Ewing theory for a long time, but the game has changed so much. The three-point shot is worth so much. Hassan Whiteside becomes endangered to extinct right before our eyes. Like, are they better without Boogie Cousins? Was trading for Boogie Cousins something that harmed the Pelicans?
You know what's funny is Kevin Pelton and I did some research before the season to see how you slay the Warriors. Like, what type of basketball gives them problems? And it turned out that playing 2 bigs, like 2 really large guys in the paint, actually made more problems for them. Whether it's anecdotally, whether it's statistically significant, I don't know. But statistically speaking, that was the blueprint. To shake the Warriors is to go big. And you think you want to match them, like have a lot of wing defenders and play fast and try to run up and down the floor with them. But I think Boogie Cousins with Anthony Davis against this Warriors team that isn't good at rebounding, I think that would be their best chance. Maybe not over 82 games and maybe not against the rest of the NBA.
Christ.
But I think in this series, that would be
Haberstroh,
their
listen
best
to
option.
what you're saying, Haberstroh. They're worse with Boogie Cousins all the time, except they could really use him to come back in just this series. That's what they only need him for 4 games, not 80. They don't need him for 96 games, 98 games, whatever it is.
But the Warriors are different than the rest of the 29 teams, right? We know this. We know that. And I think this is a case where the matchups really do matter with Boogie Cousins and Anthony Davis. If you have those two guys out there bludgeoning them in the paint and getting Draymond Green in foul trouble and Kevin Durant in foul trouble, that's tough. No other team can do that in ways that the Pelicans can. So I think overall, over 82 games, I think that style of play with Anthony Davis at the 5 and Nikola Mirotic at the 4, I think that might be getting you more wins over the regular season. But against the Warriors, I think it's a different match.
LeBron getting to the finals?
No, it's Philly.
Yeah,
It's
you're
Philly.
wrong.
I mean, I have been wrong for the last 7 years if I bet against LeBron.
Right.
But I think this is different. I think the Cleveland Cavaliers defense is not great. They don't have a second playmaker out there. I don't know what the deal is, whether it's just Ty Lue doesn't trust the new guys on the team. But the guy who's second in assist on the roster right now is Jeff Green, 2.0. Like George Hill, Kevin Love, J.R. Smith are not playmakers, and they need that second guy. And right now they don't have it. I don't trust their defense. And Philly is that good. I think they've got the Orlando Magic with Shaq and Penny written all over them. I think this is the year that LeBron James doesn't make it to the finals.
I tell you that over the next 7 games, you have to pick 2 guys to trust. Does Tom Haberstroh take Bradley Beal and John Wall, or does he take Lowry and DeRozan?
I take John Wall and Bradley Beal, and I don't feel great about it, but I'll tell you what, before this series, I picked the Wizards over the Raptors. I picked the 8 seed over the 1 seed, and I'll tell you why. In the 4 regular season games that they split, John Wall didn't play any of those games, and he's torching them right now. He's averaging 27 points and 13 assists per game, and Kyle Lowry has shrunk in the playoffs routinely every year. So if I'm going to bet one of those tandems over the other, I'm going to take Toronto because I know I've seen Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan not play great in the postseason, and I think this is the case where they split the series in the regular season with no John Wall appearing in any of those 4 games, and now he's playing, and it's incredible to watch how normal the Toronto Raptors look after they killed teams with their bench.
So listen, man, I'm going to give you like 30 seconds here because you mentioned all the things the Cavs don't have. You didn't mention the thing that they do have. That's LeBron, the greatest player in the world. Okay, the guy you trust most, under 5 minutes left in the game. So if you'd like to change your prediction, right, I'm telling you the Cavs are going to the finals. I'm telling you that I'm going to make fun of you and everyone else who picked against the Cavs once they do make it to the finals. You can change it right now if you want your last chance.
Last chance.
Not changing it.
Okay.
Michael Jordan lost to that Magic team. Michael Jordan lost to that Magic team with Shaq and Penny.
Oh, it was after basketball.
It can happen.
He was wearing number 45. Listen, in my personal record book, that was not Michael Jordan. Jordan only wore 23. The guy who wore number 45, I don't know who that guy was.
That's right.
Okay?
That's fair comment. I mean, he was playing baseball and stuff. Yeah, that's absolutely true.
Yeah.
Tom, tell us before we get out of here, please, if you'd be kind enough, the charity you're working with and what it is you're trying to do with your mother. You told us last time. The audience, how can the audience help if they want to help you, your mother, in this cause?
Yeah, so I appreciate that. My mom was diagnosed with ALS in October, and my family decided to try to raise money to find a cure. There is no cure for ALS. And you can go to als.net/pepper to donate to ALS TDI. They are working super hard to find a cure for this terrible disease that slowly wastes away your muscles until you can't eat or can't breathe. And there are no survivors of this disease. And we're really hoping we can all get behind this cause to find a cure for ALS. Again, als.net/pepper. Eat some peppers, post a video, laugh about it. And I got to say, it didn't really pop until Stugotz did it.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Hi, everyone. Stugotz here. Support for the Dan Le Batard Show podcast comes from our friends at Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Chances are you're confident when it comes to your work, your hobbies, and your life. Rocket Mortgage gives you that same level of confidence when it comes to buying a home or refinancing your existing home loan. With Rocket Mortgage, you can apply simply and understand fully so you can mortgage confidently. To get started, go to rocketmortgage.com/Stugotz, STUGOTZ. equal housing lender, licensed in all 50 states, NMLSconsumeraccess.org number 3030.
Don Le Batard.
Let me go around the shipping container filled with frightened refugees. What do you imagine Pitbull smells like? The bidding starts with facts and info.
I think he smells like my dad's cologne.
Guillermo, what do you imagine Pitbull smells like?
A combination of sweat and like agua de violeta.
Oh, nice.
Stugotz.
Roy, what do you got there?
Dracar Noir.
Mike, what about you? What would be your guess on what Pitbull smells like?
Fireball.
Thank you.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
A texter writes in, I love the show, but Michael Jordan was wearing number 23 in the Orlando series. Call Stugotz out on his BS.
You don't get the show.
I've been called out. You've been called out, Stugotz, for a factual error, which is the empire upon which you've built everything. You've been called out. I don't even know what's true anymore. I know I was at that series, and it's as stunning as anything I've ever seen, seeing Michael Jordan lose. He came back from basketball. He was terrible in the first game, and it would be, I imagine, what it's going to feel like for LeBron.
He came back from baseball.
Yeah.
So fine.
What
did I say? Basketball?
Basketball.
Yeah, he left basketball, to go play baseball, and then left baseball to come back to basketball. He was also suspended for gambling in my personal record book.
What?
My personal record book. I don't need to, none of these journalistic laws and facts. And this is just my feelings. It's my record book, and it's mine alone. And I am telling you that Jordan was suspended for 2 years for gambling. Okay? In my personal record book.
Thank you. That's an important clarification there at the end.
According to that. I don't know sources, nothing, just according to my personal record
Your
book.
wheelhouse.
Yep.
My
gut. Yeah.
Yes, your beautiful wheelhouse.
Yes.
Of according to no facts.
Yep. Hey, you just read between the lines, man. It's not that hard. I mean, that's all you got to do. Yeah, you journalists get bogged down with facts and sources and rechecking and checking again and all. Just, let your gut take you where it takes you, man. Because usually it takes you to the right spot. It does.
It takes you to LeBron winning, right? Because LeBron being someone who loses in the first round, you won't believe it until you've seen it.
Correct. Be the Braves. Don't be the A's, man. That's it.
It's a real Rubicon.
It's that too. It is. It's a real Rubicon. You're right. That perfect word choice. And so what I'm telling you is that Jordan, according to the personal record book, okay, any of those games played in the number 45, that was not Michael Jordan. It was someone else. So none of those games count. Okay? And then what I'm also telling you is he was suspended for gambling. Aqua?
According to your personal record book. So I want to get to this Apu stuff because it's important social commentary. Hank Azaria. Again, Hank Azaria is 54 years old today. A big and giant happy birthday to our controversial friend Jim Brockmire and Hank Azaria.
Happy birthday to him. I don't care. Good luck.
Wait, Brockmire and Hank Azaria have the same birthday?
Yes, oddly enough. And they seem to be obsessed with each other. Jim Brockmire debuts season 2 tonight, IFC. So Apu is the character Hank Azaria.
Oh, wow. Just check it on this number 45 thing. Oh. The Magic series. I don't know if this text is right here, Michael. Let me see.
I don't remember what number he was
that
wearing.
the Nick Anderson?
No, what was it? A Nick Anderson team? Yes, it was. I think it was Shaq and Penny. I think is what it was that knocked him out early in the playoffs.
I gotta tell you, I see a 45 on that back. I do.
Oh, so the texter got it wrong on top of everything else? Wait a minute. Why are we still talking about that? We got to respect the content box.
I'm sorry, Michael. I see number 45 on that back. I'm just checking.
Which Michael? Me or Jordan?
Jordan.
So the content box. If you're not familiar with the show,
it's a crate. Fine.
Whenever that crate, whenever the Magic Crate of Content music plays, and it's not actually the Magic Crate of Content music, it's the $25,000 pyramid.
It's number 45. Call that texter out.
Wow, texter. Texter, you called Stugotz out on his BS, and he turns it around and has his facts right.
Yeah.
The content box says to sing a song. It's
a crate, magic crate of content.
Yeah, that's a fun.
The magic crate of content says to sing a song. Sing a song. Let's. All right, give me one lyric or a little bit. Just your go-to karaoke song. Let's go, Chris Cody. Give me one lyric. Your go-to karaoke song.
I believe I can fly. Woo!
Guillermo, your go-to karaoke song.
I believe I can touch the sky.
Roy, your go-to karaoke song.
I think about it every night and day.
Mike, your go-to karaoke song.
Spread my wings and fly away.
I believe I can fly.
Okay, mine is
the lyrics wrong.
Mine. Sweet Home Alabama.
Don Le Batard.
See how quick he is at slithering around things?
Good.
Like, yeah, you are good. You are a master liar.
Stugotz.
Like you are a genius liar. You are like the Einstein of liars.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
A post-game technical foul. What does that mean? That he misbehaved so much during the game that he should have gotten a technical foul, but the refs blew it in real time, so they gave him a technical foul retroactively?
Yeah, and a $10,000 fine for confronting Gobert in Game 4. He's got to calm down, Westbrook. Like, I know.
That was fascinating to watch him be too aggressive, to watch him get into foul trouble because he was making it that personal about Ricky Rubio.
Yeah.
That was interesting to watch, man.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on there, like Kevin Durant liking Instagram stuff about, people criticizing Russell Westbrook. Like, he probably feels all this stuff is starting to come back to Westbrook again. Because he got Carmelo, like when he was doing it on his own last year, it was great. MVP, triple-double. It was fantastic. Durant left. He was the guy. He was the popular guy.
Expectations, man.
And then he gets
Sleeping expectations.
Then he gets George and Carmelo getting knocked out in the first round. Then all that stuff's coming back to him again. Can't win with Russell Westbrook. Can't do it.
That's right. Paul George. He's not even, Westbrook's not, the MVP is not even the best player on his own team anymore. Playoff P, that urinary infection. Playoff P is their best player.
Playoff P has been proven to work in the regular season for those who have struggled with moderate to severe postseason disappointment. It is not recommended as a first option. Do not take Playoff P while on Granger. Side effects include choking, heaving, not finishing, constipation, finishing early, and all-around disappointment. Playoff P is not for everyone. Call your doctor if you experience susceptibility to catfishing, kissy face, Australian sensitivity, paternity suits, the inexplicable urge to play for the Lakers, or thinking that dude's butt belongs to a lady. If you experience the loss of Oladipo, please call your doctor immediately. Get headed in a new direction with Playoff P.
Stugotz has something for Cespedes. We'll get to that in a second. But you guys don't like when I discuss race. I've been trying to talk about Hank Azaria and Pooh and the controversy. I've been wanting. No.
Yeah. Favorite song.
I wanted.
Big week, Dan. We get to the.
All right, so if Colt McCoy doesn't get hurt, does Texas beat Alabama in the 2010 BCS championship game? What?
Well, he did get hurt. Who came in for Colt in that game?
Was it Gilbert?
I think it was
Garrett Gilbert.
Yeah,
he played okay.
He did play
but
okay.
Not as well as Colt McCoy.
McCoy, one of the best quarterbacks in the country that year. So safely, I will say yes. If Colt McCoy does not get hurt, they win game.
It changes the course of college football history. Mac Brown was a head coach there. Mac Brown's probably still coaching at Texas if he has that additional title, right? You got to believe.
No question, yeah.
Nick Saban's not viewed as, yes, maybe no, the best head coach of all time if he doesn't have that title that he won over Texas. Backup quarterback. Colt McCoy, one of the greatest college football quarterbacks we've ever seen.
Really was. It's funny how little things like that, right, Dan, could change the whole, the whole everything. Could change the whole entire history of college football.
Colt McCoy is a great name. Like Chris Cody said yesterday, Dave Bing, that name can't be great. That name, Colt McCoy, is just a tremendous sportsman.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because you're right. So we were laughing that Dave Bing is a Hall of Famer, but doesn't have a Hall of Fame name. So we went the other direction this morning. guys who aren't Hall of Famers that have a Hall of Fame name, and Colt McCoy is certainly. If I'm the rogue scout and I'm calling an NFL team and I'm saying, hey, I'm on a field in the middle of Missouri, it's just me and this kid who is slinging the pill, and his name is Colt McCoy. I mean, NFL teams are lining up to sign that kid. They are.
Garrett Gilbert had 3 turnovers. He started slow. Now, solid second half, but you can't just drop a Garrett Gilbert in against that defense. Look at the Suds that were on that defense. Colt McCoy wins Texas a national championship. It's side of their most recent national championship in Pasadena, so they have good luck there, Dan.
786-456-4837. You are to call. I don't trust callers. They're bad. They're bad for sports radio, bad for entertainment. You are to be funny. You've been terrible every time we go to you. I am opening up the phones right now and telling you to simply say a name that you would draft number 1 overall because it's the name. 786-456-4837. Just a name in sports that you think is so great that you're like, a sight unseen. I don't even need to draft that prospect. That name, I'm going to draft number 1 overall.
But every sport is different, okay? So, like, in the NFL, Colt McCoy, that's a guy I would draft number 1 overall. But I would not draft Colt McCoy in the NBA draft. I would take Dallas Comegys, though.
Oh, yes. That's such a good name.
Yes.
I mean, Colt McCoy and Jordan Shipley had a chemistry.
He should have been better.
They had a chemistry unlike any quarterback wide receiver tandem in the nation that year. You put in Garrett Gilbert with Jordan Shipley, and what happens is Jordan Shipley disappears for a half until Gilbert gets settled because, again, really difficult Alabama defense.
Yeah. So the telephone number is 786-456-4837. You are to call simply as the name that you would draft number 1 overall because it's such a cool name. But before we get to that, Mike, you got it all wrong. I wasn't going to talk about race the way you thought I was talking about race. I wanted to go to the corner of the sports world where people are comfortable talking about race. I wanted to go somewhere else, people in sports where we could find people talking about race. And so we turned to, as a nation would always do when lonely, to Frank Isola. Mike, can you please tell me what's happened here where Frank Isola is stirring the pot?
The Iceman.
The Iceman. When I think of race conversations in this country, I go to Frank Isola and I say, tell me what you think, man. You're an oracle. You understand how blacks and whites and minorities and whites might not get along.
So the New York Daily News sports Twitter handle tweets out this very hot take with an accompanying article. If Lamar Jackson were white, he'd be the first quarterback drafted on Thursday night. To which Frank Isola, who works for the New York Daily News, retweets, says, or if his name were Michael Vick, Jamarcus Russell, Cam Newton, or Jameis Winston.
Bird!
Retweeted by Will Kane.
Whoa. What?
Layers to this, fellas, and I think Frankie Ice makes a hell of a point. Really, that is... That article, where it says if Lamar Jackson were white, he'd be the first quarterback drafted on Thursday night. Inflammatory article.
Shocking.
It's making waves.
How dare you? Bill Polian says he should be a wide receiver or something else. How dare you have that opinion?
But Frankie Ice is coming with facts because those are black quarterbacks that were indeed drafted number 1 overall.
That's right. See, that's the thing that you got nothing against. When Frankie Ice breaks out the facts, you got to bow, man. You got to kneel. And not like Kaepernick.
Not at all. No. So, am I to believe that racial relations in this country have soured so much since the time that Jameis Winston was drafted number 1 overall that it is proving Lamar Jackson incapable of being drafted number 1 overall because of the color of his skin?
Nonsense.
Sometimes, and this is an editorial, by the way, I think we're going a little too far with this stuff. And that's what this article is.
All right. So if you want to understand the new Ta-Nehisi Coates, Iceman is applying for the position. And I'm going to give it to him. Put it on the poll, Guillermo. Are you more comfortable hearing from Frank Isola than Ta-Nehisi Coates on race relations in this country? But before we go to commercial, I got to bang through these names here, okay? I don't trust the callers, Mike. You know I don't trust the callers. Are they going to come strong or are they going to fail? Let's get the shipping container. I don't trust the callers with the funny. America's not been trained properly yet. Miami has been. Miami's great at this. America stinks at it. Fail. All right, let's go. Mitch, go ahead, Mitch. Who you got?
Rex Burkhead.
Are we drafting him number 1 overall?
Number 1? Oh, no. It's got to be like an A.J. Hawk.
Fail. Moo. Chip, you're on ESPN Radio. Go. Moo.
Maybe he also had Rex Burkhead.
Ryan, you're on Ryan, there really is only one choice there. When you give all the names in history as options, Rex Burkhead, we can all agree, is the funniest. And wow, that poor guy lost his Rex Burkhead. Ryan, you're on ESPN Radio.
Milton Bradley.
What?
It's a game.
Fail.
That's terrible.
Wait, hold on. If I call up, I'm on a baseball field somewhere in Missouri, and I say there's a kid out here who is hitting home run after home run. His name's Milton Bradley. No one's really lined up for that?
Milton Bradley is named. It's a board game manufacturer. Like Milton Bradley is associated. That doesn't even make any sense. Milton Bradley is about as terrible as you can be at this game. Stugotz, go outside and show them how it's done by calling from outside. Just show them the way that this is done, because we got nothing but crud here on the line. And I keep trying to get the callers to do this sports radio thing funny. And I'm just getting angrier and angrier at America because they stink so bad at this. The telephone number is 786-456-4837. And the question being posed to you, the audience, is give us a name in sports history that upon hearing that name, you'd be like, that's a number one overall pick. I don't even have to see that name in action. I don't have to see that name as a scout. That name has to be drafted number one.
Is Speedy Claxton good?
I mean, it's better than Milton. Milton Bradley's terrible. Like, I can't believe that call got through. I don't even understand. Stugotz, show him how it's done.
Rex Burkhead.
Oh, you must.
Everyone in the neighborhood knew about Bobby. Bobby, the basketball boy, they called him. Bobby wanted to go pro someday, so he was always out in the driveway shooting hoops. But one day, his mom came out and told him,
"Hey, your wife wants you to take out the trash?"
His mom was visiting, and Bobby was a grown man. He had kind of missed his window. Plus, no one had ever seen him actually make a basket. But on the other hand, Bobby had heard how Geico could save him money on car insurance, so he switched and saved. So, it was all good.
Dan Le Batard.
Man, you have no journalistic responsibility.
Stugotz.
Yep, and I love it.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
Animal Guy Ron Magill. Animal Guy Ron Magill is going to be around here in about 10 minutes. If you want to talk to him, you can tailgate now, 786-456-4837. Maybe we have people call for Ron Magill as a name in sports that you would draft number one overall. I don't want to go anymore to these Garys and these Bills and this see you, Gary, and this Joaquins and all these people who aren't funny. And sports radio, we're sitting here trying to do funny, and they don't help us because they haven't been properly trained yet. I want to stop doing that. So,
all right, well then stop giving out the number.
Yeah, I probably should. What should we get to here, though? We've got Kanye's tweeting again because he's got a couple of projects out, and Andy Roddick is going after him. We got the NFL draft coming up. Everybody's excited about it. Mina Kimes is going to be here, ESPN, the magazine. She's going to break it down for you. She's coming after Kuiper and McShay. She wants their stuff. She's a draft analyst. You'll be able to call her up with your bad, terrible sports radio calls, and she will answer them well for you.
She has sent me 15 text messages during the show. I haven't read any of them. It's just crazy. What should I do? I'm going to make it what I think is going to happen. No, maybe I should just put it what should happen.
Oh, she's so neurotic.
It's pretty insufferable.
Right. And so, or should we just go to Mike Ryan is snorting this stuff, okay? Mike Ryan, the NFL draft is upon us. It's going to be on every network. Roger Goodell is going to flex his muscles. He's going to hug people. This is the height of sports entertainment right here. Everybody's going to be televising it.
Right. Well, there's only going to be one network that anyone cares about, and that's the network that Mel Kiper is on. That's it. It's Kiper and McShay. It's their time, man. This is it.
True that.
Yeah. Is that true, though? It's not the NFL network?
No. They don't have Kiper. Nope. They don't have McShay.
No, but don't they have Mayock? Is it Mayock?
Yeah, Mayock. Come on.
I mean, his hair's not on fire. I mean, come on.
All right. So anyways, Mike Ryan has been snorting this stuff, and he knows the difference, okay, between the pure, undistilled Kiper and that diluted Mayock brand. All right, the diluted supply that comes in the cheaper envelopes, all that stuff.
This is not a bit. I seek out the week of the NFL draft everything I can wrap my head around. Every podcast, I cram them in. I listen to them at 2 times normal speed so I can get max efficiency with my NFL draft. And let me tell you something.
Proud of you, man.
Listening to Mel Kiper Jr. at normal speed feels like you're doing cocaine. Listening to him at 2 times normal speed, you stop seeing shapes and colors. You just see measurables.
How do you know what cocaine feels like?
Have you ever done this?
Cocaine?
No, Kiper. 2 times speed.
No, Kuiper, I can't endure him at his speed.
This is cocaine, only much better.
Who would ever be surprised when nobody knew Chris? I mean, who knew who John Dorsey was? I've known John forever, and Todd last week said we went Josh Allen number 1. He had a mock. So Wendy says, Todd, you've been resolute on Sam Darnold from day one. No, I've been resolute. Last week he said I had the mock. This week I went with Josh Allen number 1. So not so resolute, Todd. And I would have been so resolute on Josh Allen if I heard Sam Darnold was going number 1. I'll move Sam Darnold in there. So just as soon as we heard something different, you adjust to that. You heard Josh Allen 2 weeks ago. People were adjusting Josh Allen. Even in Vegas, the odds changed dramatically on Josh Allen because they were hearing that same buzz. And now you hear a little buzz on like somebody knows. I've known John Dorsey longer than you guys, and he ain't telling me. So if he ain't telling me, he comes now maybe somebody in the organization is leaking out what they think, but it ain't coming from Dorsey. So so who knows? If it's Darnold, then we put Darnold 1, and then we find a spot for Josh. If Josh Allen's 1, we have Darnold probably 2 or 3.
Are you done talking yet? There's like 5 minutes into the show.
I'm a minute and a half into the show. My clock says 2 minutes and 5 seconds right now.
It's been a long minute and a half.
Yeah. Go ahead. Give me 5 minutes of your expertise.
I want to know what your thoughts are on if Baker Mayfield's still in the discussion.
For what?
First overall pick? There's some buzz out there today.
Yeah, it can be buzz all you want. A 6'1.5" quarterback with antics going number 1. Okay.
Don't see it. I don't see it, but legitimately, there's some noise out there on Baker Mayfield. I think people are just bored and trying to come up with something that's going to grab a headline. I honestly, at no point in time have felt less conviction about who's going to be the first overall pick than I do right now. I think it's down to 2. I think it's down to 2 if excluding the Baker Mayfield rumors. I believe it's down to 2. Adam Schefter said today again that he believes it's down to 2 with Josh Allen and Sam Darnold. And there are people that are shocked by the fact that it could be Josh Allen. There are people that truly believe it's going to be Sam Darnold, and then there are a lot of people, and for whatever reason last week, it seemed like last week was Josh Allen week. That everyone you talked to, well, I'm hearing Josh Allen, the buzz is Josh Allen. Who knows? I mean, you're right, John Dorsey knows. Some other guys in that organization may know what's going on in the process, and they certainly have their opinions. I think some of those opinions are starting to get out a little bit, but it doesn't seem like, from everything I understand, John Dorsey makes this pick, and he may not clue in anybody until draft day.
Todd, he doesn't clue anybody. That's off the John. He's not cluing anybody, and he's not telling anybody. And he doesn't care what, the thing with John doesn't listen to any of these podcasts. He doesn't listen to NFL Lives. He doesn't watch NFL Network. He doesn't watch any of that. He doesn't watch any of it. He doesn't watch any of that stuff. He doesn't watch anything. And that's why he is. That's why he's always been. That's why you just don't know. So, he's not telling anybody what he's doing. Now, if it has leaked from somebody else out what he thinks, I don't know how much he's communicated to those people about that. I don't know if they made a final decision or not, but it doesn't matter. John gets frustrated. It's 7 rounds of this draft. It's not about the first pick will be made. We'll move on to pick 2. You know what's really fascinating? We get all wrapped up in this. Who's going number 1? Who cares? Like, it was like Meyer Bledsoe, and somebody's going to do number golf went. After their pick, you move on to the next choice, and we got 7 rounds of this stuff. Now we're going home after the first pick's made.
You know what's really funny is from the old days when I reported, I still have a cell number for John Dorsey. Todd, I'm going to tip the pick. I'm going to tip the pick. Go ahead. All right, Mel.
What was that?
Who knows?
Yeah, what's Sprout doing? Tom's just stuck. I don't know.
Sprout's turning into a diva. You never know.
It's just like, what do you know? What do you know?
Only one of us is wearing makeup in this room. No, I don't think I've done any TV today. Todd, I read the well-read McShay Draft Buzz file.
Yep.
Do you believe, when your head exploded, if somebody was able to get to that number 2 pick and the Giants would trade out of it? I keep hearing they put such a price on it that it's going to be really tough to get into that spot. Do you buy that? Are they going to wait till the last minute?
I've heard nothing about the Giants moving out of number 2.
We need some good leaks.
Everything I've heard with the Giants has to do with 3 players. Sam Darnold, and this part I'm not sure on. Sam Darnold allegedly, or based off of information that we've kind of all gotten, that if they were to take a quarterback, it would be if Darnold were there. Stugotz here for 1-800-Flowers. Being a mom is like 1,000 little jobs all wrapped into one amazing responsibility. I know this from watching my own wife, how crazy it is, switching back and forth from trauma nurse to afternoon mathematician, from organizer-in-chief to 5-star chef. This Mother's Day, show her how much you appreciate every job she does with this special limited-time offer from 1-800-Flowers.com. Right now, when you get ahead of the Mother's Day rush, 1-800-Flowers will give you an exclusive 36 for 36 offer, 36 sorbet roses for just $36. That's only $1 per rose. With an impressive mix of pastel shades in pink, orange, and lavender, these roses are guaranteed to make her smile. Stunning sorbet roses are the perfect way to surprise all the moms in your life. Wife, aunt, sister, mother. These breathtaking roses from 1-800-Flowers are picked at their peak and shipped overnight to ensure freshness. 36 sorbet roses for only $36 is an amazing offer, but you need to hurry because it expires Friday. Just pick your delivery date and 1-800-Flowers will handle the rest. Don't put this off, guys. I'm telling you, order today from 1-800-Flowers.com. It's what mom would want you to do. To order 36 sorbet roses for only $36, simple. Go to 1-800-Flowers.com, click the radio icon, enter code Dan. That's 1-800-Flowers.com, code Dan. Hurry. Offer ends on Friday. It's like, what, really? He was like blown away. He was really surprised. But you can get a pass rusher and the value, and then the 5th year, and at that price, he's like, that would really surprise me. So, I mean, again, that's another GM. That's one of the other 31 GMs in the league. It doesn't matter what he thinks or what his opinion is on it. It just matters what Dave Gettleman and his group decide. But I just thought that was interesting.
And now, the Ron Magill Show.
Yep.
Straight from Zoo, Miami, it is Ron Magill. Here is Ron Magill, Stugotz, and Dan Batard on ESPN Radio.
So, all this other talk, fine, but everything I would say, the headliner there is in favor to be the second.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Ron Magill going to join us in just a second on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line.
Is there any part of you that is, I know you do a draft grades file, heard of it. Is there any part of you that says, man, I don't like that pick. If you could have gotten a 1, maybe 2 1s, a 1 and a 2, just gave up that much draft value?
Well, yeah, first of all, you can move down to 12. What you're talking about is a Buffalo pick. So you're dropping all the way down to 12. If they deem Barkley to be Zeke Elliott or Gurley or Fournette or any of the great backs, Adrian Peterson or maybe Trent Richardson because he was the bust, you put him in this group, he didn't pan out. But if you deem he's going to be one of those guys, then you take him. And, you don't look back because everybody doesn't believe you don't take running backs high. He's graded out. Like I just asked McShay, it's not who's the number 1 guy in most team sports. You would say Barkley. So if it is the case, then his grade is in.
Here's your Sports Center update.
Ahead. So to me, that's where they would go. Now, if Darnold was there, I don't know. I mean, Darnold, Trump Barkley, quarterback like that, I don't know how to feel about Darnold. This whole gold jacket thing, Todd, baffles me. Who knows going to be wearing a gold jacket at the end of their career? Or do we have a crystal ball? Do you have that good of an evaluator? Who's going to be wearing a gold jacket?
Was your pie spoiled this morning? You're in a mood, man.
That just kind of blew out. I want my guy to wear. I hope you all hope that, but are we that good where we can define who's going to be wearing a gold jacket with the second pick?
I get that good diaper.
Let's jump to number 3, Todd. Kick us off here. My sense, and it seems yours.
Looking great at your special event or wedding has never been easier than with thebblacktux.com. They've got tons of new suits and tuxedos that'll make you stand out for the right reasons or score $20 off your purchase. Simple. Visit thebblacktux.com/Dan.
And I've got people screaming at me saying, they love Mayfield, they love his edginess, they love what he can come in and he's going to bring kind of that.
Owner likes him.
Yeah, Broadway Baker.
Broadway Baker, and Piper can nickname him and all that. Like flicking Flacco, whatever the hell that was. But I've also heard Rosen here too. And Rosen would be a good fit, and that they kind of, I don't know, I've heard both, so this one's a tough one for me. No.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, who's going to sit there and be the Ben Roethlisberger of this draft, or the best quarterback goes last? So, of the group, so we'll see.
For all the latest headlines and information, tune in to Sports Center on ESPN Radio all throughout the day.
Ron Magill with us as he is every week with all of your animal questions. We will give you your sports information. You just got it. You just freebased it, man. Yeah. That's your sports information. Allow us to talk about animals for a while because, man, I can't feel my face. Next segment, we'll actually play it at twice the speed as opposed to that, which is just the way Mel Kiper talks. That's just normal. So next segment,
speed it up?
We're going to speed it up a little bit. Yes. So Ron Magill is our zoo expert. 786-456-4837 is the number. Johnny Utah, you're on with Ron Magill of Zoo Miami. Go ahead, Johnny Utah.
Hi, Ron. I'm wondering, who would win in a fight, an anaconda or a python?
Wow. Interesting. Very interesting. The python, theoretically, the reticulated python is the longest snake in the world. Gets to be over 33 feet long. However, the anaconda is the largest snake in the world. It can get to be over 20 feet long, but weigh hundreds of pounds. So, that's really going to be a toss-up. Neither one of those snakes eat other snakes. But I think at the end of the day, weight is going to trump length. Just because of the fact, if you got a guy that's 7 feet tall like a Manute Bowl, and you put him in there with a refrigerator Perry, I think Perry's going to take him out, right? That's my logic behind that. So I'm going to go with the anaconda.
We had a question earlier this week: the worst way to die, bear attack or shark attack. There's a guy we're trying to reach who's been attacked by a bear, a shark, and a snake, and we were trying to decide worst way to die. Which is it, bear attack or shark attack?
That's a toss-up for me. I would go with the worst way as a shark attack because you're drowning too. I mean, you're in the water, you're drowning. It's eating, drowning. It's drowning and fire are my two biggest fears as far as dying goes. So
which is quicker though, Ron? Like which one would be quicker though?
What's the size of the animals? Are you talking about a 20-foot shark and a 9-foot tall bear, or are you talking about a 15-foot bear and a 10-foot long shark? I mean, you gotta equate the problem.
Too much nuance, zoo guy.
Just make a max big.
Make a pick, and be done with it. Like too much nuance, too many degrees. Tell me the size of the bear.
Okay, I'm gonna go with the shark being faster because the shark is gonna get you in the gutter and underwater, and you're gonna bleed out right away. A bear is not necessarily going to kill you right away. It might maul on you and chew on you a bunch. It'd be a longer, more drawn out death, I think. Yeah. More people survive a bear attack than a great white shark attack. So I'm going to go with the shark. I feel
like you've taken every side of this argument, though,
and I'm proud of you.
Trot Nixon, you're on with Ron Magill of Zoo Miami. Go ahead, Trot Nixon. Only in baseball, though. Only in baseball. Go ahead, Trot Nixon.
Is it possible, and if it is possible, is there anybody that's keeping DNA of endangered species to bring them back a la Jurassic Park?
Absolutely. There are huge, not only DNA banks, but sperm banks for animals that are being kept. You've all heard about the northern white rhino that passed away, the last northern white rhino male, which in effect makes the species extinct. But what you don't realize is we have a lot of that sperm stored. We have also the eggs of females stored. So what they're going to do is they're going to take those eggs, they're going to fertilize those eggs, they'll place those fertilized embryos in the bellies of southern white rhinos that are not extinct, and they will bring to term full-term northern white rhinos. So it's the same. We've done it with zebras. We've taken zebra embryos, put them inside domestic horses, fertilized zebra embryos, put them in domestic horses, and the horse gives birth to a full-fledged zebra.
NFL Draft Week here on ESPN Radio. Gunnar Keel, you're on with Ron Magill of Zoo Miami. Go ahead, Gunnar.
Oh, hi there. Yeah. Sorry.
You forgot you were Gunnar, is that it? Okay, no problem, Gunnar.
Who would win in a fight? Go ahead, Gunnar.
Who would win in a fight, a diamondback, rattlesnake, or a cobra?
Wow. Again, I think... Okay, are we talking about a king cobra or a monocle cobra?
McGill, are you new to these questions? For the love of God, man, have you ever done this before?
This makes a big difference. A king cobra can kill an elephant with one bite. You specified diamondback rattlesnake. You didn't say pygmy rattlesnake. You didn't just say rattlesnake. You said diamondback rattlesnake, which is the largest of the rattlesnakes. If I'm going to put that against the largest of the cobras, which is the king cobra, I'm going with the king cobra, because king cobras not only have a potential strong venom, but they eat snakes, whereas rattlesnakes don't eat snakes. So I'm going with the king cobra.
See if we can get Gunnar back to ask him these questions.
You try to simplify everything, Dan. Life isn't that simple, okay? He said diamondback rattlesnake and a cobra. Well, there are many cobras.
Quentin Jammer, you're on with Ron McGill of Zoo Miami.
America.
Quentin Jammer, you're on with Ron McGill of Zoo Miami. It's not America.
Yes, best sports name, by the way, John the Beast Mugabe.
All right, get out of here. Tim Biakabatuka, you had one job. Yeah. You had one job and you blew it. Tim Biakabatuka, you're on with Ron McGill. Go ahead.
Hey, how's it going? Hey, my dog seems like he likes his farts, or he's trying to figure out why it's happening. Because every time he does it, he puts his face down there. Have you noticed any other animals in the wild?
Gassy animals. Why are they smelling their own farts?
Yeah, a lot of animals do that. Many times I have found that dogs do that when they have fairly loud farts. You know, they make that... And that's the sound. They don't know what the sound is, so they immediately look back to the sound, and then they smell it, and some of them like it, some of them don't. But I noticed with my dog, he does this little it's like a little toot that he does, and when he does that, the sound frightens him, and he turns around to see where the sound's coming from.
That same thing happens to me all the time, man.
I do it too. I mean, do you smell your own? I do.
Bronco Nagurski, you're on with Ron McGill of Zoo Miami. Go ahead, Bronco Nagurski.
Ron, could a silverback gorilla in his prime stop the 5 best offensive linemen and the best running back ever from getting 1 yard?
No, I don't think so. 1 yard is not that much. If you get the 5 best offensive linemen, listen, they're going to get hurt. A couple of them might get killed, but you're going to get the yard. You'll die after the yard. I don't know if it'll be worth it, but you'll get the yard.
I've shoved my head under the covers.
Can you explain this to me, though, Ron? What would I have to make the odds for you to call it an even fight? A silverback gorilla against how many linemen where you would say, look, this is not going to work out well for the gorilla? Like, where do I have to put the number to make it hard for you to...
Okay, but wait a minute, Dan. Again, I'm asking for clarification here. Are you talking about the lineman trying to kill the gorilla?
I'm talking about...
You're talking about a fight to the death?
I'm talking about 5 offensive linemen, or however many you tell me, are blocking, trying to play football, and what is across from them is an actual silverback gorilla. They're just playing football. Right. The silverback gorilla is just being a silverback gorilla.
Right. Okay. That's going to the running back can run for a touchdown. Okay? Because the running back is going to be much quicker, feet much quicker, running, cutting. That gorilla's not that fast running and cutting. If you're talking about just going straight ahead and trying to bowl the gorilla over, no, your 5 linemen aren't going to do that. But your 5 linemen are going to be able to create enough of a distraction, enough of a challenge to that gorilla initially, that the running back's going to be able to cut around. He's going to pull out. He's going to be one of those those running backs who hate to get hit type things, and he's going to be gone because once he gets by the gorilla can't catch him.
Tree Rollins
can't run.
Tree Rollins, stop talking, McGill. Tree Rollins, you're on with Ron McGill of Zoo Miami. Go ahead, Tree Rollins.
Weird today. It's weird.
Ron, I've heard that most elephants weigh less than a blue whale's tongue. Is this true?
Really?
Wow, that's an interesting fact. I'd never heard that. I mean, most elephants weigh less than 10,000 pounds. No, but the blue whale's tongue is huge. I don't know if it weighs 10,000 pounds. I know that the gonads, the testicles of a blue whale, weigh thousands of pounds, but I don't know about the tongue. So
Wait a minute.
That's a look up for me.
Wait a minute. How many pounds? The testicles of a whale?
Thousands.
Ron, did you know a horse
weighs thousands of pounds?
Did you know a horse can fit inside the blue whale fart bubble?
Wow, we've really gone off a cliff today. What's happening?
But is it true?
No, but Ron, I'm being serious.
Is it true?
I've never looked at a blue whale's fart bubble. Excuse me, I'm sorry.
You've looked at its testicles, clearly.
Well, when we've done anatomy, when you do anatomy, you're looking at different organs. But no, I've never measured the fart bubble of a blue whale, and I don't know if anyone else has either. Now, I imagine that because of the size of the intestines, if these animals do produce a fart, it would be a very large fart. And yes, it would be very expected that a horse could fit into that bubble. But people who are coming up with these types of comparisons have way too much time on their hands.
That's not true.
Well, you're missing out, man. You should get in there.
So let's look at the video here
Okay.
They've sent you the video. You're going to do play-by-play of it. What do you have there?
Ready? Okay. We got the guys on elephant back here. Oh, this looks like a tiger safari where they're looking. This is what I remember doing this in India on an elephant back, looking around. They're looking at tiger. They're looking at a patch of looks like. Oh God, it's a tiger! She's coming up with the. Oh wait, it looks like that's the guy on the elephant. Oh my God, Jesus Christus! Now it's being replayed in slow motion. It comes up. Does it kill him? Oh, look at the pulse. Look at the it nails. Oh, no, the guy's alive. The guy's alive. You see his hands all bloody, but it blurred out. Holy jeez. That tiger leapt out of that rice paddy and went up on that elephant and nailed that guy in the hand. They must have really been ticking off that tiger. That tiger must have been harassed because I've done that in India where I've, tracked tigers and elephant back and the tigers don't pay any attention. They must have been harassing that tiger.
Oh, my God. That was terrifying. Terrifying.
Yeah, that would scare me. I would have soiled my pants if I was on that.
Oh, my God. Jumping, leaping tigers. Woo! Oh. Graceful and beautiful.
Look at the claws. Just got his hand, though. He's lucky he could take him off the...
Tiger don't care,
horrible.
man.
Wow, that was impressive. That's an impressive video. Holy geez. What's impressive is the guy who kept rolling when that tiger's coming up on the tiger. That on the elephant. That's very impressive. Holy jeez, that made my hair stand up.
Yeah. What do those farts smell like?
All right, thank you, Ron, for being on with us. We appreciate it.
Hi, everyone. Stugotz here. Support for the Dan Le Batard Show podcast comes from our friends at Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Chances are you're confident when it comes to your work, your hobbies, and your life. Rocket Mortgage gives you that same level of confidence when it comes to buying a home or refinancing your existing home loan. With Rocket Mortgage, you can apply simply and understand fully so you can mortgage confidently. To get started, go to rocketmortgage.com/Stugotz, STUGOTZ. Equal housing lender, licensed in all 50 states, NMLSconsumeraccess.org number 3030.
Dan Le Batard.
Stugotz, when we decided to move to South Florida, decided that he was going to move to Neptune.
Yeah.
He thought that would be a good commute. Keeps buying homes further and further north.
Stugotz.
Last time I checked in with him, he was having a home built on stilts in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
Anytime we talk race around here, I don't know if you've listened to the last 45 minutes of absurd we've done around here, but people are still complaining about a race conversation from 45 minutes ago because they pretend to be mad about it and they'll quit the show over a race conversation and they stay right there and just want to get into these race fights. And so out of nowhere, after everything we've done in the last 45 minutes, a texter writes in, does Dan know he's white and that he enjoys white privilege? Do I know it? I got it even better. I'm a minority and I look white. I got the sweet spot, man, of privilege. The sweet spot. Money, and nobody's touching me on much of anything I say because I got brown card, baby, even though you can't see it.
White Hispanic, pretty sweet spot.
Woo! Woo! In this country, is it browns? I'm in power now, baby. It ain't white privilege, it's brown privilege. And so what happens is they get bothered by the race conversations. Mike, what did you just get shocked by during the break while you were reading your phone? How much of this can we say? Bob Kraft, Kaepernick, like what's happening here? Because I just walked through the room and you were reacting to some Bob Kraft quotes.
Like Mike will rarely stop everything, like silence.
Yes.
And he needs to tell us something.
That's right. There was an announcement. There is a race alert.
And I see it now all over Twitter. Mike tried to explain it to me, but I didn't understand.
Yeah.
Well, you weren't listening and are afraid of the subject.
Yeah. In fact, what I told you process it as the exact opposite of what I'd actually been reading.
But now that I'm reading it, I can see why you gave me the look that you gave me.
Mike, that was amazing to listen to. Before you get to the meat of this story, and we inform, because I still don't know what this story is about, and I don't know what we're allowed to report. I don't know what Bob Kraft said. But I did marvel at the way that you looked at Stugotz after you were reading him information and he looked back at you and said, I got it, Mike, and then said the exact opposite of what it is that you had informed him of.
So, this is pretty explosive. And we're still going to comb through this. I'm just going to give you the top line. Again, I'm reaching out to people trying to figure out what
Okay, this is not an ESPN report. This is just who's reporting this. Where's this information coming from? Because usually ESPN needs to vet this stuff before we talk about it. We can't just talk about stuff that's being said on the internet.
Right. This is coming from the New York Times.
Pretty good place.
A reputable
I don't know
source.
what the story is, Stugotz. I legitimately don't know what this story is.
No, that was a serious question.
Yes, the New York Times is a good source.
Okay.
So, the headline: inside the confidential NFL meeting to discuss national anthem protest, they obtain a recording of this summit between the owners and players at the height of the Kaepernick kneeling.
When everyone was yelling at each other,
when Trump's weighing in.
The rooms with the fights in them.
Yeah, I mean, this is a golden bit of audio. It is incredible journalism to dig this up.
Somebody in the room was recording the conversation, and now the New York Times has it.
Right. There's a quote that says, "Let's make sure we keep this thing confidential." That's Roger Goodell speaking. So, whoops.
Right.
All right. So, again, I'm just skimming through this because there's a lot to process here. But there's a point in which Robert Kraft, most famous owner in that league.
Is he?
Among him and Jerry Jones.
Jerry Jones,
Kraft pointed to another elephant in the room. Quote, "the kneeling," he said. The problem is, and this is Robert Kraft, according to this New York Times piece that obtained this audio, the problem is we have a president who will use that as fodder to do his mission that I don't feel is in the best interest of America, said Kraft, who has been viewed as a longtime supporter of Donald Trump. It's divisive and it's horrible. That's Robert Kraft. Mm-hmm. We always get patriot speak from that organization. You're getting honest and what he believed to be confidential opinions.
Yeah, I want everyone smoked out on this. So you've got the owner, Bob McNair, Stugotz. This is an NFL owner who said something about inmates running the asylum, apologized for saying it, and then said later his only regret was apologizing for saying it. Like, good God, get us the audio tapes of all of these people talking instead of the Baltimore owner saying, pray for us. Like, let's get good. What I wouldn't do.
Seems like they have all.
I don't even know how much I would pay for the idea. They have all the audio. The New York Times has all the audio.
I mean, they have just about everyone in the room quoted.
That is the collusion suit right there. Like, if Colin Kaepernick is going to become martyr guy, like the collusion suit would be right here in whatever is being reported that the audio can be connected
Well,
to.
I'm not really sure we can take that direction because it seems as though the owners are hearing the players out and are trying, they understand what the problem here is, and they're worried. They're naming the president by name as him taking advantage of this.
Well, hold on with It's Bob Kraft. I'd like to hear the honest conversation. Who's supporting
There are other
what?
owners here. There are other owners here. Jeffrey Lurie. We've got to be careful to not be baited by Trump or whomever else.
That's good, yeah.
We have to find a way to not be divided and not get baited. The Bills owner, all Donald needs to do is start to do this again. We need to have some kind of immediate plan because of what's going on in society. All of us right now, we need to put a Band-Aid on what's going on in this country. So it seems like this is
healthy.
a true healthy conversation.
Though. Yes, that's where you want to be, in the honest conversation where you can find out with names on it what are the honest opinions. Then you've got an interesting, honest race conversation.
Shad Khan, the Jags owner, was saying all the damage Trump's going to do is done. Like, it's done. Let's go. Let's move on. And he was one of the guys saying he would sign Colin Kaepernick.
Huge story. We'll break it down with Mina Kimes as she gives us her mock draft next.
Don Batard.
What's the single most important thing the Eagles have to do to beat the Patriots?
Stugotz.
So get to Brady with 4 is what it sounded like. Put pressure on Brady.
We find find out if Mina Kimes is still alive. Next.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
Andy Roddick went after Kanye. We got to get to that. Stugotz has something for Cespedes and Condoleezza. We have a ceremony back there that we have to conduct that we have forgotten to conduct that maybe we will conduct tomorrow because we just forgot to do something today. We haven't done favorite colors in like 6 days.
What?
No, everything is going crazy around here. Mina Kimes joins us.
Aqua?
Mina Kimes, ESPN, the magazine. She is the best we've got. She can analyze the draft better than anybody, and we are going to take down McShay and Kiper. Both of them, the old guard. We're going to take them down by revealing her mock draft top 10, and she's going to get more right than McShay and Kiper. And we believe in Mina. But before we get to her mock 2.0 top 10, I've been told by Mike Ryan that you're crazy, a neurotic, that you are in the middle of a total existential crisis.
That's not nice.
Well, I thought I saw McShay. I'm in Bristol, by the way, and I thought I saw McShay walking over here, and I briefly hid because I didn't want that confrontation. But it was someone else. I forgot that everyone here looks like Todd McShay. But yeah, no, I've been spiraling for like 3 days, basically.
Okay.
Because I was in Mexico this weekend for a bachelorette party.
Right.
And me being me, I was grinding tape the whole time. I was studying my Walter football guide.
She's not making this up, by the way.
No, this is all true.
She is the lamest this way. The lamest.
By the way, Mina, you don't maybe see Todd McShay. When he walks into a room, you know.
Yeah.
He's kissed by the sun.
He is.
There's a lot of quarter fleece zip-ups here, is all I'll say. But anyway, so I watched tape. I even grinded my own tape. I was terrible the first time. I flew back to the U.S. I read draft guides the entire time. I probably put in 12 hours of work on the beach. So I get through TSA, and I was wearing my Dan Le Batard Stugotz show hat. Thanks, Mike Ryan. And the TSA officer asked me, he was like, "Oh, is that like a sports show?" And I said, "Well, kinda, sorta." And he said, "Are you on it?" And I said, "Kinda." And he said, "You have the best job because you can say whatever you want and no one will ever remember." And I've just been sort of, all this prep, I've just been kind of spiraling ever since. Like, does it even matter? Like, I did all this work for no reason, and I don't feel good about it.
Time now for Mina's top 10. We're coming after Kiper.
Yeah.
We're coming after McShay. You got nothing for her, boys. She's going to take you out on Thursday. She's going to reveal to America that you guys have been on a foundation that has been fraud for decades. Number 10, mock draft situation, according to Mina Kimes, publicly recorded by the internet and the world, is...
This was crazy. I've got Arizona trading up for Josh Allen.
Wow. All right. Arizona trading up a Josh Allen? Did you just say that? Did you just say that?
Okay.
My dragon breath.
So they hold all the cards. Now, that was a bombshell to lead off with. But
Thank you.
You have to speak way faster than you're speaking right now.
Okay, so Josh Allen at number 10. Mina Kimes, give us 20 seconds. Josh Allen at number 10. Quickly, please.
Well, I think that it's sort of hard to explain without getting in my top 5. I think there's going to be 4 quarterbacks taken before him, and when you get past those and you get to the Broncos, who I don't believe want Josh Allen, I see him sliding. Arizona is the next team. They're going to trade up to get past the Dolphins.
Good information. Good information.
The Raiders are at number 10. They got their quarterback. Just faster,
speed it up, faster. Number 9, Nina. Nina. Number 9. It's moving too fast.
We can skip up to 5.
No, let's speed it up.
Niners, Roquan Smith.
Wow. Give us a couple of seconds on him.
Why? 10 seconds. Why?
Well, part of this has to do with the Reuben Foster pending suspension, or he might be cut. They need a inside linebacker. He's the best in the draft.
8. Number 8, according to Mina Kimes, bringing it strong.
Bears, Minka Fitzpatrick.
Wow. Minka's going to fall at 8?
What you got, Kiper? What you got, big boy? Why, number 8? Why?
That's just, they need depth in their secondary. He can play multiple positions. That's the most desired trait right now for cornerbacks and safeties in today's NFL.
Okay. Right. Couple notes. Yep. What happened to the signature breath before you deliver the
you
information?
You said to go faster.
Yes, but you still need to do the breath. That's your thing.
And then you got to build it up, Mina. Okay, so with Minka Fitzpatrick, what you got to say is this is the best quarterback to come into the draft since Deion Sanders. Okay, you got to do something like that.
Is that true?
It doesn't matter if it's true or not. You just got to say it. Okay.
Number 7, according to Mina Kimes, ESPN the magazine coming after Kiper and Michelle.
Bucks, Derwin James.
No.
Wait, I've not done do the breath at the same time.
No, nobody asked you to do the breath at the same time.
You do the breath and then the information. No, the breath, then the information.
Now the breath, and then number 7. Let's do it again, for the love of God.
Set her up again. Go ahead.
Number 7, Mina Kimes. Number 7.
Buck. Oh, shoot.
Oh, for the love of God.
Again.
Set her up again.
Buck's throwing James.
No,
wait.
Mina.
Set her up. Yep.
Number 7, Mina, this is not the way to go after.
Okay, wait.
The Bucks.
Mina. This is not the way to go after McShay and Kuiper. You got to do it right. Number 7, according to Mina Kimes, is
Bucks take Derwin James.
Woo! Nice. Why?
Nice.
Thank you. Another issue, their secondary is the worst in the NFL, allowed like the most passing yards. They need him. He is the best.
What happened to the breath, Mina, before you gave the analysis?
Well, I have to give breath before every sentence.
Everything.
Yeah.
And stop thanking people.
Yes.
Interrupt people.
Stop interrupting.
Do you want to know how fast you're supposed to speak? I'll give you an example.
Not so resolute, Todd. And I would have been so resolute when Josh Allen hurt Sam Darnold was number 1.
Mel doesn't have 5 coaches yelling in his ear.
Because he's better, because he doesn't need the 5 coaches.
Now you hear a little buzz on
We're just trying to get you there. We care, Mina. We care.
You need the hot take correctly, and we're running out of time. This segment, we haven't even gotten to your list, so let's go. Number 7.
We're at 6, actually.
That's a fine.
Did you do it right? I don't feel like we did number 7 right. The analysis on number 7.
You're using that to shade over the fact that you just forgot we were.
Yeah.
6, Colts, Quentin Nelson.
Oh, wow.
Why? 10
Tell us about the Hall of Fame guard.
Why?
I mean, have you seen what that offensive line has done to Andrew Luck? Enough said.
5. There you go.
Boom.
Enough said.
Boom.
Right? She's getting good. Number 5, Mina.
At the Bills trading out for Josh Rosen.
She's got built sources. She wrote a Tyrod Taylor piece. She wrote a Tyrod Taylor piece. Give it to us, Mina.
It's quite simple. They need a quarterback. They have the assets to trade up. The Broncos, we're hearing, do not want Josh Allen. That's why I think they'll trade out of there, even though they're interested in a quarterback.
Woo! Number 4. That's hot. That's hot sauce. Number 4, Mina Kimes.
I can't keep the breath thing. I've got the Browns taking Chubb at 4.
Ooh, he fell to 4.
Wow.
He fell to 4.
Chubb at 4.
Nobody's got that. Tell us why.
Chubb at 4.
Well, it has to do with the way the first 3 picks are playing out the quarterbacks. Look, they just need another defensive end to pair alongside Myles Garrett. He is the best defensive player in the draft.
Wow. Who will they take at 1? Who will they take at 1?
Wait a minute. Number 3.
I know,
Hold on. Number 3, Mina Kimes. Number 3.
Jets, Baker Mayfield.
Oh my God! Bubba Baker and the Jets.
Yeah! Yeah! Why, Mina?
I think it's that him or Rosen for them with, I can't reveal who's going ahead of him, but we're just hearing so much heat coming out of New York with Baker right now. Rich Cimini, our Jets reporter, likes him there. It makes sense. It's a good system fit. It feels right.
Number 2, Mina Kimes, ESPN, the magazine. I want to get to this New York Times story with her. Breaking news. Number 2, according to Mina Kimes. I think so. Wait. I think does 2 reveal 1, or does she have a shocker at number 1?
No. 2.
Does
let
2,
her do it.
Does 2? Anyway,
2 reveals 1.
No. I don't know if it does. Number 2, Mina Kimes. Number 2. Oh my God! Hold on. What unfortunate timing!
Man, can't control that button.
All right, Mina Kimes, we got to get to number 2 and number 1.
And this time story.
Mina Kimes, how many chickens would it take to kill an elephant? Give us a number here. How many chickens would it take to kill an elephant as we stop all to go to the magic crate of content? How many?
300.
Woo! Tell us why. 10 seconds. Tell us why in 10 seconds, please.
The only way a posse of chickens could take down an elephant is by suffocating it, and you'd have to reach that level of quantity to overtake and blanket the elephant.
Yo, chicken time.
What do you mean by posse?
Yeah, right? I heard it too. Get her out of here. We can't have that kind of talk around lists of the radio.
Next. You're holding up the line, ma'am.
What did you say?
You're next in line for the water slide, ma'am. Feet forward and enjoy the ride.
Okay, dearie. This does look fun. Whee-oh! You melted me. I've melted.
The Wicked Witch of the West on a water slide? Surprising. What's not surprising? How much you could save by switching to Geico.
See what you've done. Oh!
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Dan Le Batard.
From the window
Stugotz.
to the wall.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
Texters and emailers just pounding me specifically. Mina Kimes, they say I ruined the Mina Kimes segment. Mina Kimes' information is great. She's going to be all over the draft coverage, all over it tomorrow with Dominique Foxworth. You're going to want to check in with her because I'm telling you, she is as prepared as anyone doing it. But many of you are getting really mad at me because you're saying, for example, this segment is peak mansplaining.
You don't get the show.
This show is a joke is where it finishes. This show is...
You don't get the show.
And yeah, I mean, you're right about this show being a joke. You're not right about not understanding what that segment was. So, number 2, according to Mina Kimes, on her 2.0 mock draft, ESPN, the magazine senior writer, she's going to take all of McShay's and Kuiper's stuff. Number 2 is...
I'd like to preface this by saying I hate it. It's the Giants taking Saquon Barkley.
What do you mean you hate it? What happened there?
So this draft is what I think is going to happen. It's not what I want to happen, right? And I think this is a colossally stupid decision if they do this, and increasingly I think they're going to. It does not make sense for a team without a long-term plan at quarterback to take a running back at number 2. It's almost rarely a good idea to take a running back at number 2, regardless, but it's especially stupid for the Giants, and I think they're going to do it.
But Gettleman has a long-term plan at quarterback. It's Eli Manning.
Oh, boy.
And the number one pick, overall pick in the draft, according to Mina Kimes, is...
Sam Darnold to the Browns.
Yeah, Darnold and Chubb there, Mike.
Do a lot of people have Darnold there? I feel like we were talking. Didn't someone report today it's either Baker Mayfield or Josh Allen?
Yeah, that was Mary Kay Cabot.
Yeah, but I told you, smoke screens. Don't believe a word anyone's saying these days.
Well, how do you know something different, Mina? How do you know something different?
Well, there's smoke everywhere. They've been linked to just about every quarterback, and we've gone through a million phases of this. Darnold's been the guy from the beginning. He has the highest upside of any quarterback in the draft. He needs to season, as you gotta say, for a year, and they've got Tyrod Taylor. It's a good fit, good situation. He is the perfect modern quarterback, and he's the best player available. I just hope they don't mess this up.
Okay, so Mina, before we let you go, though, the serious stuff, before we get out of here, can you give us a minute on this New York Times story? We want to be smarter. I haven't even read the story yet. The headline is Inside the Confidential NFL Meetings to Discuss National Anthem Protests. It broke during the show. I haven't even been able to read it. How am I supposed to think about this in a minute, please?
I found it really unsurprising. It's a lot of quotes from these owners saying, how are we going to deal with this Trump thing? And it reveals something that I've always thought, which is, we hear so much from Bob McNair and Jerry Jones, so we think the owners are like these old-timey villains or that they're motivated by politics or ideology. Their only ideology is making money. Most of these guys don't care about the anthem. They don't care about the kneeling. They only care about making it go away so they can continue making money. And if you read these quotes, it's obvious that Bob Kraft, Terry Pegula, Jeff Lurie, they feel the same way. They don't care about what Colin Kaepernick is doing or saying. They only care about not hurting their bottom line.
What was the most interesting thing in it for you?
I think the fact that Kraft was willing to say those things about Trump, who's ostensibly his friend and longtime he's been an advocate of him in some ways. It's interesting to hear him be honest behind closed doors that he disapproves of how he's handled this situation. That sort of honesty is rare. But honestly, if I hadn't read these quotes, I would have guessed that's what he believes.
Was his friend.
Was his friend.
No longer is, Mina.
Yeah, put that on the poll. We'll update these polls tomorrow, Mina. But did you not see the difference? And at the risk of mansplaining to you, the difference between the fire you brought in that last minute and everything that came before it. Do you not see the difference? Because you gave us take, Mina, and it was social take. But stick to sports, okay, Mina? Stick to sports. Yes, throw some of that in there. Yes, make sounds, Mina.
Number one. You heard it here first.
Sports. Do more sports, Mina. Stop with your diverse opinions about politics and the president. Just make sounds of a dragon.
Don't take Barkley at 2, please.